Smart contracts changed transactions. XDaLa changes processes. It is the missing layer between isolated on-chain actions and real executable workflows. The real world does not run in single transactions. It runs in steps, conditions, dependencies, timing, and decisions. That is exactly the world XDaLa is built for. XDaLa turns complex logic into deterministic on-chain sessions. It can validate data, read state, use external inputs, branch into different paths, pause, resume, and coordinate full workflows, not as theory, as execution. Traditional blockchain logic is simple. A transaction hits a contract and a result comes back. XDaLa goes further. It transforms transactions into processes. Today, most process logic lives off-chain, in backend services, bots, schedulers, databases, and disconnected systems. That makes automation fragile and auditability incomplete. XDaLa brings orchestration into a deterministic execution model. At the core of that model is XRC-137. XRC-137 defines a single rule step inside a process. It receives inputs, evaluates logic, reads data, and produces a clear outcome. One step, one decision point. Fully deterministic. But XRC-137 is more than validation. It can interpret context, combine internal and external information, and shape what happens next. So each step does not just check the process, it moves the process forward. And in XDaLa, invalid does not simply mean failure. It can mean a different route, a different outcome, or a different next step. This is the difference between a contract call and real workflow logic. Then comes XRC-729. This is the orchestration layer. It defines how steps connect, where flows branch, where paths run in parallel, and where results come back together. It is the structure behind execution. With XRC-729, workflows become composable, linear flows, conditional logic, parallel branches, coordinated joins, not improvised automation around the chain, but orchestration as part of the system itself. Real processes are rarely linear. Sometimes multiple actions must happen at once. XDaLa can spawn branches, let them run independently, and merge the results back into one coherent session. That is native orchestration. And real workflows also need time. Approvals take time. Waiting periods take time. Scheduled continuation takes time. XDaLa treats time as part of the logic, allowing sessions to pause and resume deterministically. Processes also depend on information beyond a single contract. That is why XDaLa can integrate smart contract reads, API responses, and structured external values. This makes on-chain workflows capable of responding to the real world in a controlled and auditable way. Without a true process layer, teams split logic across too many systems. That creates hidden state, fragmented audit trails, brittle automation, and unclear ownership of execution. XDaLa reduces that fragmentation by making the process itself explicit. This unlocks a new class of on-chain applications: payment workflows, approval chains, compliance logic, structured settlement, enterprise automation, cross-system execution. Anywhere a single transaction is too small, XDaLa becomes relevant. In simple terms, XRC-137 defines the logic of a step. XRC-729 defines the structure of the process. XDaLa executes the session. Together, they create deterministic on-chain workflows. That is the bigger picture. XDaLa is not just another smart contract framework. It is a new execution layer for rules, decisions, orchestration, and multi-step automation. A move from isolated transactions to real process execution. XDaLa by XGR.Network. Deterministic rules, auditable orchestration, real on-chain processes. This is where blockchain starts to execute how the real world actually works.